Today I want to share with you a classic song that was originally released in 1970 by the Guess Who. We'll be taking a look at a version that was later recorded, a cover version by Lenny Kravitz in this American Woman guitar lesson. Now the original version by the Guess Who, I have a lesson on my channel and they play it in the key of E. Lenny Kravitz does it in the key of C and puts his own take on it. There's actually some really cool things that he did that I want to point out as we go through this. So if you're looking for the original version, you can check that out on my channel. But here's the Lenny Kravitz version. It starts on C and goes like this. 3, 4. So he's rocked out the riff a little bit more here. There's more distortion on his guitar tone. And here I'm playing just a C power chord, which is the 3rd fret of the A string and then the 5th fret on the D string. And I'm going to use a back and forth strum here in 16th notes. So 1 and a 2, okay? Down, up, down. And then what he does is just take off that note on the 5th fret and bar with the index, and you've got 3 on the 5th string and 3 on the 4th string. Those are the notes C and F. And then you go back up to the C power chord. So it's, okay, and I'm just playing 2 notes at a time there. And that's really, it's almost like going, it's just keeping the bass the same, okay? So it's, you can think of that like a B flat over C kind of chord, so. Then he jumps down and goes, and adds this cool lick. This is the 1st fret of the low E, the note F, hammer to G on the 3rd fret, and then 1 on the 5th string. That's the note B flat. Now I use my pinky a lot to play riffs like that, and that's something that I actually learned from Carol Kay, session musician. But the idea is that it's just a little bit more relaxed on your hand. You could use the ring finger, whichever is comfortable for you. So here I'm going 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a... So that's the first riff, and this is really just based on something called the blues scale in the key of C. It's like a C minor blues scale. We're going to use this later when we talk about soloing in this lesson, but if you haven't worked this scale out yet anywhere on the neck, I want to give you a gift that's going to help you out with this. And what it is my free blues scale PDF guide. Just go to johnmcclennan.com/bluescales and you can download that as my gift to you. It's going to help you map out these notes anywhere on the neck. So when you're soloing or playing riffs, you can immediately identify the key. So from there, go back up, and we do the same thing, but we have a different rhythm. So 1 E and a 2 E and we have like a little syncopation there, a little 16th note change. So 1 E and a 2 E and okay, so the first time is 1 E and a 2 E and a 3, and that C comes back on beat 3, but here it's coming in on the last 16th note of beat 2, so 1 E and a 2 E and So what Lenny does is he alternates. He has one on the beat and then one off the beat, and that's how the riff just progresses through the tune. So 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and then he goes, does these scratch strums. That's just a down up on the muted, and then it's like a Hendrix. Like I totally just think of that as a Hendrix lick there. It's a quick hammer pull off again from the blues scale, right? Here he's doing 8 hammer to 10 pull off to 8, but he does a trick where you strum and you just mute off the other strings, and that's something that I learned from Stevie Ray Vaughan, and Hendrix would do that a lot, where you just get that extra thud instead of like, see how that sounds kind of weaker? It sounds stronger when you strum it. So it's down, up, muted, and then a quick hammer pull. Okay, so it's gonna alternate. So 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and then it repeats. It's such a cool riff. Now you'll notice that I'm adding a little bit more kind of just chicka chicka 1 E and a 2 E and a going in between those parts just to keep the groove going. On the recording, the guitars are pretty clean. They play like. It's just real tight. But if you don't have a drummer kind of keeping the groove and you're just playing this by yourself, you can. So all that chicka chicka da. But the recording is just, it's a little simpler. So if you're playing with the recording and you want to match it, you play a little less. If you're playing on your own, I'll probably just rock out and go crazy with it. So from there, you do these power chords and we go. And this is similar to the first riff, but what we do is we play power chords, a B flat power chord. That's 1 on the 5th string, 3 on the 4th string. Slide up and then go back. 1, 3. So it's 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and then on beat 4, 1 muted strum. So 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and then again 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. Then tie in the riff. That little lick down here, 1 to 3, and then 1 on the 5th string. So this is figure 2. Back to the first riff. All right, so that is the majority of the song till we get to the guitar solo. Now here's where Lenny does something really cool. He actually modulates down, which is something you don't hear that often in a lot of songs. It's a lot more rare in regards to modulations. Usually you modulate up, but Lenny goes down, and what he does, when the guitar solo hits, he goes. It's genius. It's just, he plays the riff and then he just lowers it 1 fret for the solo. And then halfway through the solo, he raises it back up so it lifts the energy again. So it's like, here it is in B. You play 2 and 4. You just take this riff and you drop it down 1 fret. Now here, instead of going, right, 1 to 3, we got to go open. Because we're out of frets there. We got to go to fret 0. 0, hammer to 2, open A string. Then again. Then. So it's just 4 bars there. He drops down to the key of B, where before we were in the key of C, starts soloing over that in the key of B, and then the key changes back up to C, and he keeps soloing through the key change. So what he does is it's just 4 bars of B, then back up to C, and I'll get to the soloing in a second, but here is the entire guitar solo section, the chords that are happening there. 3, 4. Take it up. So that's a really cool thing that is definitely not in the original. So there's a lot of stuff that Lenny's changed, but I think every change is really brilliant. So to talk about soloing from this, when the solo comes in, we're in the key of B. So what we have to do is we have to match that blues scale to the note B. And that's going to be this blues scale. Again, you can get these patterns at the first link down below. And you want to make sure you feel comfortable with those notes. Then you can start bending some of those notes. climb up the scale like this. And use, that's like the little bluesy chromatic there. So he's soloing there. Then when the band goes up to the key of C, then he just moves everything up one fret and keeps soloing. So let me give you an example of that. I'm gonna play using the blues scale, improvising in the key of B for 4 bars, and then I'm gonna shift up and we're gonna change keys in the middle of the solo. Here we go. So there you have it. That is a simple example of how to navigate a key change and soloing with the blues scale. Be sure to grab my free guide on this. Just go to johnmcclennan.com/bluescales, and this is going to help you work out the 5 patterns that I use to play this scale anywhere on the neck. As always, thanks for watching, and you can check out the original version of how to play this right here.